Yeah, so welcome back to a Spring Boot series, and today we are going to discuss about @bean annotation, and then we will see how we can implement this annotation in a Spring Boot project. So @bean annotation is used to define a method that produces a bean to be managed by a Spring container, right? And @bean annotation is used in a Java-based configuration. So we use @bean as an object that is initiated and managed by the Spring IoC container. So when you annotate a method with @bean annotation, then the Spring will automatically detect it, and then it will register that method as a bean during the component scanning process. So this allow you to create and configure beans in a Java-based configuration class. And @bean annotation provide two methods. First, the init method, and second, the destroy method. So you can use the init method to put some logic to get executed at the time of the object initialization, right? And the second method is the destroy method, which is handled by the Spring container only, but that method will be called when the bean of yeah so when the object of that bean will get destroyed by the container, then it is going to call a destroy method, and there you can put some logic to do some operation at the time of the destruction of that particular bean object. And these two methods are handled by the Spring container only, right? So only we just need to means declare or define that method and then put a logic, right? Yeah, so like also we will see how to implement that init and a destroy method in our code. So next we will discuss the purpose of using @bean annotation. So basically there are the following purposes. First is the bean definition. So when you annotate a method with @bean, it signals to a Spring container that the method will create and return an instance of a bean. So basically it is going to return an instance of that particular bean when you define any particular method with @bean annotation. So the container will then manage the lifecycle of that bean. It will handle it, then it will do the initialization, it will configure it, and then it can do the destruction. So basically the lifecycle will be handled by the Spring container, right? So the second purpose is the customization of a bean configuration. So @bean is to customize the configuration of a bean, such as setting of the properties, injecting dependencies, or applying specific initialization logic. So it has a init method and the destroy method, which we can use to put some logic at the time of initialization, at the time of destruction, right? So the third purpose we can say the dependency injection, right? So although we can use dependency injection with the annotation based configuration also by using @AutoWire, but here also we can use a Java based configuration, which is like to promote a loosely coupled design where the component rely on the abstraction rather than the concrete implementation, right? So the fourth purpose can be like a configuration. So @bean is commonly used in a Java based configuration classes where we use @configuration annotation to make any Java class as a configuration, as a Java based configuration class. And this is a pragmatic and a type safe way to configure a bean compared to the XML based configurations, right? So the fifth purpose can be customizing the bean name. So if you want to change the name of a bean, then also this has the ability. So in the parameter of @bean, you can pass the particular name of that bean, and then you can use that name to get the object of that particular bean, right? So @bean annotation allows you to specify a custom name of a bean, which can be useful in a case you need to refer or to a bean by a specific name. Yeah. So the conclusion of @bean annotation is that @bean annotation provide a way to declare and customize a bean in a Spring application, and it allows to enable a Spring IoC container to manage the lifecycle and facilitate the dependency injection, right? So now we are going to see how we can implement this @bean annotation in a Spring Boot project. So for that I'm going to open IntelliJ, and here you can see already in my previous lectures I have created all this controller repository, service and all, right? So now we are going to create a configure package. So because we are going to use a Java based configuration, right? So for that I need to create one let's say a config package, and the config package will contain one Java class, let's say app config. All right, so this app config will be our Java based configuration class. So to make any Java class as a configuration class in like a Spring Boot, we mark that class with @configuration, and this is imported by a context package, right? So let me create one like method, and let's say I want to return subject, let's say math subject. Okay, so math subject is the name of this the method name, and this is returning. So here, yeah, so here let's say I am returning the object of a math subject class. Yeah, so here I am returning the math object class, but I want to be managed by a Spring container. So for that we mark this with @bean. So when we mark this method with @bean, then we are allowing a Spring container to manage this method, and this method will return the object of a math class, right? So all the life cycles functionality will be handled by the Spring container, right? Yeah, so currently we are using Java based configuration. So let me remove this component, because we don't require annotation based configuration. So we will comment this out from math subject class, and here we will create the object, and then the container will manage this using bean annotation, right? So now let's go to our main class, and here you can see already I have some code to call. Yeah, so here simply I will use the class let's say a math subject dot class. Okay, so yeah, so basically this run method will return the context. Okay, and this context has all the bean object within it. So we can get the particular bean by the get bean method, and there we are passing math subject class name. So it will basically return the bean object of this particular class, and we are storing here. And then with this reference variable or object, we can call get subject method, which is there inside our get subject, right? So here you can see that if you have seen my last lectures, there I am using component, right? But now we have commented it out. We are using bean to get yeah, and we are allowing the container to get initialize all these bean object. So this is the main class, and here I'm using system.out.println and then calling this get subject. Okay, now let me run this and then show you the output for this. So you can see uh, the output, and the output we are getting math subject, right? So we got the output as a math subject. It means that we are able to means in this way you can see bean annotation is used in a Java based configuration file to inject yeah uh, so here with the bean will return the object, but this will be handled by the Spring container, right? So yeah, so like in the similar manner we can yeah, so this is so also yeah, so also we can provide a custom name to a bean. So for that we need to provide the name here. With the add that bean annotation, we can pass the parameter, the particular name you want of, let's say a math subject bean. Yeah, so this is the bean name you want to customize and you don't want to use the default name, so you need to provide like this with the @bean. And then in the main class here I want to use this name, so for that I will pass as a string, and then I need to cast this to a math subject, right? So let me run this and then let me show you how this will look. So you can see that still I'm getting that custom string math subject. Okay, so by this way we can give a customized name to a bean, right? So in this we need to pass the customized name as a parameter to a @bean. All right, yeah. And also if you want to see the default name, so default name will be the bean default name will be the method name. So for that you need to remove this customized name, and you can see this is the method, right? So default name will be the method name. So here you can pass that that method name, and then if I will call, then you will see. So let me run this program, and here I am passing the name of the method, right? So with this we can get the object of this bean here in the math subject, and then math subject is calling get subject, and here we are getting math subject, right, as a return. So yeah, so this is about how to customize the bean, and also we have seen the method name is the default name for the bean, right? Yeah. So in the similar manner, so next we will see the init method and a destroy method. So here in us, okay. So before that we are going to see the dependency injection, means how to do the dependency injection using @bean annotation, right? So for that, in a similar manner, let me create one more bean subject for the science subject. All right. So science subject, and let me return new subject service, right? And I want that this method should be managed by a Spring container. So for that we need to make this at the red bean, so this will manage by the container. All right. And now we are using Java configuration, so we need to remove these annotations also, because we are using Java configuration, not the annotation configuration. All right. And then yeah, so in the controller, so let me go to the controller, subject controller, and here also we have this annotation. So let me remove this so that we will do the dependency injection through @bean, not by the annotations, right? Means with the Java based configuration. Now, so now yeah, so this is the configuration class. All right. And here I have created two bean, one with the math subject which is returning the object of a math subject, and the science subject which is returning the subject service class object. Okay. And yeah, so here I have to do the dependency injection. So subject controller, return type subject controller. So I will return here the new subject controller, and here we need to pass the name of the method. Let's say first I want to pass the science subject. All right. So sign subject method. So this will return the object of the signed subject, and I want to be managed by a container. So for that we have to mark with @bean, right? So subject controller is the name of the method which is returning the object of a signed subject, right? So here we are allowing the control container to manage this bean. Yeah, so this is the dependency injection we are doing. And now let's go to our main class, and here let me comment this out. Let me uncomment this. And here we can see, you can see already we are calling with the context. We are taking the bean of a subject controller. Okay, so let me run this, and then we will see the output. So basically we are injecting here with a sign subject, so we should get sign subject. Yeah, and we are getting in the response sign subject. In the similar manner, if you want to inject the math subject here, then you can use the method math subject. Okay, and then you need to cast it with the subject service. All right, and then you can run this. So yeah, so with this I am explaining you about the dependency injection using the Java configuration class, where we will use the bean class. All right, we got some error. Let me see it. Okay, error when creating with a define in a class subject controller. Okay, let me go to the subject controller app here, and then yeah, let me run this again. Yeah, okay. So here we have seen that we are using the math subject. So for that we need to cast it with the math subject class. So let me copy and paste this here, and we have to change first parameter. Okay, so we are using the constructor in that, so I need to cast it. Yeah, now let me run, and then we will see the output. Yeah, so now we are injecting basically a math subject class, and then from the main class we are getting the math subject means get subject method, which is returning the math subject, right? So yeah, so in this way we can do the dependency injection using the Java class configuration. So for that we need to use @bean annotation to a method, and the method is returning the object of the controller. But in this controller we are passing that which like class bean we need to return, right? And this method will be controlled by the container, right? Yeah, so this is all about the dependency injection. So now, like, next we are going to discuss about the init method and the destroy method, which is the inbuilt method provided by @bean controller, right? So for that we need to define this. So the parameter with that bean, we have init method, and here we need to provide the name of the init method. Let's say init like bean. Okay, so this is the name of the method which will be called at the initialization, right? Next, in the similar manner, we have a tag with a destroy method, and here we need to provide the name of the destroy method. So let's say destroy bean. Okay, and now in our controller class we need to create the methods uh, for uh, let's say with the name the init mean, and here I will return. or we can do like system.println also, or also we can like return it, right? So let me return the string here, or yeah, simply you can put a void here, we no need to return it. And yeah, because here you need to put the logic which you want to do at the time of the initialization of that bean, right? So let me put initialization of a bean logic. All right, in the similar manner we have another method that we have defined, destroy uh, destroy bean system.out.println, and here I want logic at the bean destruction. All right, yeah. So basically you have to take care that this method name should match from here. For the init method, this method name should be match, and for destroy, this method name should match here, right? Yeah, so basically the container will call this method at the time of the initialization of a bean, and here you can do some logic in yeah, in the similar manner at the time of the destroy of a bean object, the container will call this method, and then you can write some logic to do some operation at the time of the destruction of that particular bean object, right? So mostly we prefer to do like, for example, if we have to put some data to a database at the time of the installation of a bean, then we can write a database logic to get injected some record in the database. And let's say that at the time of a destruction of a bean object, if you want to means delete some input from a database, then you can write that logic here to interact with the database to delete that particular roads, right? Uh, at the time of the destroy method. Yeah, and from yeah, here we define like init method and the destroy method with the name of the method, right? So let me run this, and then let me show you the output. So after run, you can see we are getting initialization of a bean logic. So when the bean is getting initialized, it is calling this method. Okay, initialization of bean object, bean logic, and then we are getting the math subject, right? So when we will stop this server, you will see the logic at the bean destruction. It means when the time of the bean destruction, the container is going to call this method, is going to call this destroy bean method, and then the logic will get executed, right? So basically I want to tell you that the bean provide two method, the init method and a destroy method, which will be called by the container at the time of initialization and at the time of the destroy method. And by and by this way we can define, right? Yeah. So like in this lecture we have discussed about at the bean annotation, and also we have discussed how to implement the dependency injection, how to change the name of the bean to customize bean, and how to implement the init method and a destroy method, right? So thank you and have a nice day.